All right, 7-6 math. Let's get started. Brady, Talon, and Grace, you three are up. Get my projector started here. Okay, so we're on lesson 22 already. It's crazy we're already lesson 22. So page 113. So equal groups, stories with fractions. How are you guys doing with it so far? Looking through the first part. Yeah. Grace, how are you doing with it so far? What was that? Pretty good so far, Talon? You cruising through it? Kinda? Anywhere you're stuck so far? Yeah, Grace?
The one part that I understand of like some of the questions and asking what is 8 to the number or one.
Where it says what is 3/10 of a number?
Yeah, I got that, but exactly what fractions of a number.
Which letter are you talking about?
Just in general. Some of them I using.
Okay, so I'll go over this and then that might help answer it, and if not, I'll help you a little bit more. Okay, because fractions with word problems can be a little tricky. So we're gonna get this figured out here. So equal groups, stories with fractions. So page 113. So example number one, 2/3 of the musicians played guitars. How many, oh wait, 2/3 of the 12 musicians played guitars. How many of the musicians played guitars? So how many total people are there? Brady? How many musicians does it say total there? Right here, Talon? It says 12, yep. So there's 12 musicians. Whoops, grab 9. Okay, so 12 of them are musicians. It wants to know how many of them are playing guitars. So it says 2/3 of them are playing guitars. So how would I figure this out? So 2/3 guitars. So yep, you can do the rectangle method. And how many sections would we have? 3. Yep, so we'd have 3 sections because in our denominator here, there's a 3. So I would divide them up into 3 sections. Good. So from there, I would need to figure out how many are in each box. So what I like to do is I take the total number here, which is 12, and I divide it by my denominator, which is 3. So 12 divided by 3, which is going to be what, Brady? 4. Yep. So 4. So that means there are 4 per group because 4 plus 4 is 8. 4 plus 8 is going to be 12. So 12 total. How would I figure out the 2/3 part? What do I do with that 2, Talon? So I multiply that by my answer of 4. So I would take 4 times 2. 4 times 2, which is going to be 8. So 2/3, let's see if that makes sense when I just color in 2 of these sections. So there's one section here, that would be one of them, and then 2 of the sections right there, that would be 2. So when you get into bigger numbers, I always like to do the dividing and then dividing by the denominator and then multiply by the numerator. That's always easier for me. If you like drawing out the chart like this too, I'm totally fine with that. That's okay too. Yeah, Brady? Yeah, yep, that would be the diagram. Yep, that's the little diagram. Correct. Yeah, Johnny?
What is this diagram?
So yeah, it would be, are you doing fractions too like this? Yeah, so it'd be just like this. Yeah. just so I know that you can draw it out as well. So yes, I do want you to draw it out. But you can also, you can do it the other way first. So doing the division, divide by the denominator and then multiply by the numerator, and then also draw the diagram. Okay, so let's try example 2 on page 114. So it says, Corey has finished 3/4 of the 28 story problems, or wait, Corey has finished 3/4 of the 28 problems on the assignment. How many problems has Corey finished? So how am I going to do this one, Grace? You're okay. So I have 28 total, right? Then what do I do with the 3/4? So what way do you do it? Yeah, so you do 28 divided by 4, right? Yep, that's the way I do it. So 28 divided by 4, because 4 is in the denominator. That's going to be 7. And then you multiply by the numerator, right? So 7 times 3, which is 21. Nope, in example 2, it does not say you have to draw it out. It says you don't have to draw a diagram. So we have 21 problems. Yep. So you only have to actually draw it out if it says to draw it out, or if you like to do it that way. But honestly, this way is much easier, taking the total, divide it by the denominator, and then multiply that answer by the numerator. I think that's much less complicated, unless you're a visual person. Okay, example 3, how much money is 3/5 of $3? So Brady, how do I do that one? So I have $3 total. What is 3/5 of it? Yep, so $3 divided by 5. I can't do that in my head, so I'm going to do $3 divided by 5. So 5 goes into, I'm going to add my decimal point right here. 5 goes into 30 how many times, Brady? Yeah, 6 times, yep. 5 times 6 is 30. And then I just have 0, so that leaves me with a 0. So that means I have 60 cents. 60 cents. But it wants me to have 3/5 of it. So now what do I do with the, yeah, Colin, multiply by 3, good. So 60 cents times 3, so 3 times 0, 0, and then 3 times 6, yep, 18. So I have $1.80. Good, so 3/5 of $3 is going to be $1.80. Yes, Brady? With money problem, yeah, you can. So with the money, you would do it the same way. So you'd draw a little rectangle shape, divide it up into 5 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then in each section, you would put 60 cents in it. 60 cents, 60 cents, all the way down. And then it wants to know 3/5 of it. So yep, you could fill them in. If you don't have something to fill it in with, you could just say these 3 guys, and then say 60 cents times 3, because it wants to know 3/5, which is $1.80. So, yep. Now, when you have to draw it out, it's not terrible, but it's more time consuming more than anything. All right, so let's try it with example 5. So example 5 is a little bit more. Example 4 is pretty much the same thing. So example 5, let's skip to that one on page 115. So it says, what percent of a whole circle is 1/5 of a circle? So what's that one asking? So a whole circle, let's draw out a whole circle here first. Yeah, so how many sections of this circle would I have, Brady? 5 of them, yep. Yeah, so I would just shade in one portion. How much of that is shaded? 1/5. 1/5. Did it say it wanted it? Oh, it says what percent. It says what percent. So 1/5. And how would I write that as a fraction? How would I write that as a percent? I said that wrong. Sorry. Talon? 1.5%. How do I turn the fraction into a percent? So I have 5 total sections. So I have 100. 100 is my total because there's 100%. And you can't go any bigger than 100%. And I would have to divide that into 5 sections. So if I were to divide 100 by 5, because that's my 5 sections, 5 goes into 100. How many times, Brady? $100. Or just 10, that's fine too. Yeah, it'll end up being 20. Yep, so 20. So 20 would be each of my sections. And since it only wants one, my answer would be for letter A, 20% also equals 1/5, which makes sense. Letter B, yep, we're gonna do letter B. So if I had 3 of these sections shaded in, no, don't clear all. So if I had 3/5, so if I had 3/5, now all I have to do is take 3 times 20. So 20 times 3, which is going to be 60, 60%. So I multiplied my numerator by my denominator, and that was letter B. Letter B. All right, so you guys continue on your homework. So A through F. So does that answer your guys' questions that you had for, yeah, Grace? Are you okay? Are you better now? A little bit, Talon? Yeah. Which part are you still struggling with? Talon? Oh, you're good? Oh, okay. All right, so once I get through the other math groups, I'll help you guys if you have a question.